Most GTIs are hiding one expensive repair that most sellers don't want you to know about. Before buying a used GTI, look into the last time their thermostat or water pump has been changed. It's going to run you about $600 to $1,000 to change that. And that's so vital to the car.
Yeah.
And you're not going to know about it. Most people don't know to look for the temperature as the car's rises, and all of a sudden you're on the side of the road, your hood's up, there's smoke and steam all over the place, and you're like, oh no, my life's over. It's okay, calm down, overheated.
And they're not fun repairs, but especially with the thermostat. The water pump, you can see a coolant leak on most failure modes, but a thermostat, that might be a wrap.
Yeah, because you'll stay stuck.
Yeah, if you buy a used one, 80,000 miles, maybe go ahead and replace the thermostat just in case.
But GTI has been known as the leading hatchback for a long time.
They're so peppy and fun.
They're so peppy and fun. They're nimble.
Yeah.
Light. You can make the rear end dance with the front wheel drive. It's a super fun car to drive. I've owned two, and they were amazing.
Yeah.
Loved them.
Especially with the hatch too, the daily driving friendliness of it is insane. Throw groceries, whatever you want on the back, and things just fit.
Yeah, and really I can't think of another car that created the fun, instant sensation of paddle shifting at that price range. With the DSG, you're just going pa, 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 and it's shifting.
You're kidding.
Shifting right away.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And you get paddle shifters in other cars, but you'll be driving, then you'll hit it, and then the car will continue to rev up, and then all of a sudden, then it'll shift.
Yeah.
It's super delayed. With the DSG, it's a ton of fun.
Yeah, and they're not like aggressive shifts. That's the thing with the GT3s, GT4s with the PDK for Porsche.
Yep.
Is I would own one of those instead of a manual.
Really?
Yeah, I would, because the feeling and the sound of that instant shift is so violent that it's the most fun thing ever to upshift and downshift. It's amazing.
World's first front locking diff. Again, it just goes to the race car mentality, the driving purpose of the car.
Yeah.
Get those tires locked together and you're moving and you're getting to rotate the car around.
Yeah.
It's super nice.
For the type of vehicle that it is, having that racing pedigree is super interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because if you don't really know the car culture, you look at one of those, you're like, that's a cool car, but you wouldn't really think it's the most special thing ever made. But then you get into one of them, you start driving it hard in the canyons and things, and yeah, they just come alive. Really cool vehicle.
And the cool thing about the MK7s or the Mark 7s is the prices are starting to come down to where pretty much if you have a stable job, you can buy one and enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Even the newer ones are 3,000 pounds. That's enough to be comfortable. There's this relationship between comfort and weight of the vehicle. And 3,000 is about that sweet spot that's so hard to find now, where you still get a little bit of that noise blockage so you can have some quiet highway driving. But it's not so gigantic and just overweight to where you don't feel any crack in the road or any bump.
228 horsepower. It doesn't sound like that's a lot, but a light car, front wheel drive, you're gonna get a lot of grip, especially if you put tires on it, put good tires on it. It's just a great car to drive. So one thing that I know from owning experience is their turbos are known to go out at 60K. 60,000 miles, turbos are known to fly and get off the handle. I've owned two of them. One of them went at 59,080 miles, literally driving it to the dealership. And I remember asking him, because that's when the warranty runs out, and I'm like, hey, no one drive this because my warranty will be up, and it's not, so I still want you to pay for my turbo.
Oh man, did they do it?
And yeah, I got a fresh turbo.
What do you know? What about it makes it unreliable?
I don't know if it's an unreliability thing, but it's just their turbo. It just, I think it was. I remember it not making power and just spewing white smoke.
Oh wow.
So turbo seals, oil seal. No efficiency, stop. It literally probably just locked up. So you got no power because you got no intake.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not the hardest change.
Yeah.
I think you do have to. But I believe we've done a video before, and one of the more reliable cars is the Volkswagen.
On paper.
On paper.
Yeah, we were
It was
shocked
like
because of the
Lexus
brand,
Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Or Volkswagen Lexus.
Yeah.
So they're expensive. They're expensive to own. They're expensive to repair. But they don't break that much. They don't break a lot of things. Turbos are known to go on lots of things. So
Yeah.
it's not unique. And then at the end of the day, you get a race car that does 30 miles to the gallon.
Right. That's so hard to beat. Something that's really fun to drive and just so efficient.
So efficient.
And insurance is going to be cheaper because it's not known for that notorious average driver to just be
Right.
taking out walls and things.
Yeah,
It's just gonna-
you're not gonna lose the rear end to take out a car out of Cars and
Yeah.
Coffee. A crowd out of Cars and Coffee.
Yeah.
Comment down below if you want a GTI Mark 7.